Hello, Wave Country. I'm John Ramsey, and welcome to the Monday edition of Wave 3 Listens Live. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. We've got a great show for you, very informative, and if you have a senior loved one, don't leave that television set. When I think about our list of fears, perhaps heights are one, public speaking, but I think also going broke in a nursing home. Don't go broke in a nursing home.
Don't do it, don't do it.
Don't do it. Elder Advisors can tell you how to avoid that. With me now is the president, Larry Weiss, and owner-president, want to make sure I get that right. And
El
the vice,
Presidente would be better.
El Presidente,
Thank you,
okay.
gracias.
King,
Yeah, El Conquistador.
Monarch, he's that. And then Denise Ice as well, who is the vice president of Elder Advisors. Okay, let's get started here. Lots of information, lots of great stories today.
It is.
But a little overview, Larry, if you would.
Well, first of all, hello, Kentuckiana. It's a little dreary day, but it's a lot better with the presence of John Ramsey here at Wave 3, Listens Live. First of all, what Elder Advisors does in a nutshell is we help families transition their loved ones from their homes to home health care, assisted living, or to long-term care nursing homes using financial and legal strategies to protect assets so they don't go broke in a nursing home. And it's kind of our common refrain, two things really. Do not prejudge your situation. It's never too late. Never too late. I can't be any clearer than that. Never too late. We have our workshop. Tammy, this is a little early. Okay. Tammy, the producer, is reminding me to remind the viewing audience that we're doing our workshops next Monday at the 4 Points by Sheraton, of course, Tuesday for Indiana. And so we invite people to come out because keep an open mind. There's so much that we can do. Even if someone's in a nursing home paying $7,000 a month, we can protect those assets. And now, John, I need to give a shout out. That's kind of a TV thing. Oh, look at that. There's the people.
Yes.
There's a room full of people eager to learn, and there's a delightful Denise Ice, my business partner, former 10-year Medicaid supervisor with the state of Kentucky. Denise, you look like you know what you're talking about.
I do.
You look like you have a conviction.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I'm biased. That guy's a beautiful man.
Man, there's just too much Hanson in that room.
I can't believe it's still in the confines of the four squares of that viewing monitor. But come out next Monday and Tuesday and learn, because it's never too late to protect your assets. The reality is there's Steve Langdon, McNeely Stevenson, because earlier on the intro, when I was saying that there's a financial legal component, Steve definitely represents a legal component. Because actually to use the rules to protect your assets, as Steve calls it, special exceptions, you need both a financial, which Denise and I do, and the rest of Elder Advisors, and certainly a legal component, which Steve Langdon and Neely Stevenson does. It is never too late to protect assets. So I need to do my shout out to my amigos, Nelson and Juan Mitier. They love you. They're on right now watching your show.
I
they
appreciate
love
that.
John Ramsey.
Thank you.
They love John Ramsey. And also, I have to tell you, can I give a shout out to LMPD today?
Sure.
I'm coming down Broadway and I'm stopping at Floyd, right? Lights, all of a sudden, sirens and everything, and there's an ambulance, which of course, we got to, for ambulance. But what was so cool was the LMPD cruisers pulled up in like a vehicular ballet, and they're blocking as a blocking action, like a SWAT tactic. They're blocking that intersection, letting the police go through, letting the ambulance go through. And then when it's done, they turn their lights off and they disappeared. I thought, man, that is cool.
Okay.
Kudos, LMPD. Yeah. Really cool.
Yeah, it makes you feel safer, doesn't it?
I tell you what, they're all professional at LMPD. Big fan. Thought it was really cool. Just a block from here, John.
Fantastic.
Block from here.
Before we talk to Denise, though, I do want to talk about, first of all, I was going to say, let's talk about what separates you from the competition, but you really have no competition.
There is none.
No one does what you do.
No.
And I want to talk about your philosophy a little bit, about, how you, to me, there's a lot more than just putting experts in the right position.
Absolutely.
It's also about an overlying philosophy. Tell me about that.
Well, first of all, I think it's no secret. I have a lot of passion. I love what I do. I don't have a job. I don't have a business. I don't have a career. I simply have a passion. I love this. I'm blessed. I've got great people that work with me every day, including Denise, Tim, Suzanne, Elijah, Autumn, and of course the law firm McNeely Stevenson, because it takes a whole team to protect families' assets. Because the other part of that is we take the stress off their shoulders, because this is overwhelming. As a matter of fact, we have a referral that watches Wave 3 right now. And actually next Monday, when we come back, the day of the workshop, Steve Langdon and Keith Mall, a real estate attorney, are going to be in here. And the theme of Monday's show, I'm not trying to tell you your job, John, but the theme from Monday's show, next Monday, a week from today, is We Saved the Family Farm.
Oh, okay.
How we saved the family farm. Because everybody else is told you'll have to sell the farm, you'll have to sell it, get rid of it. You don't have to do that. We use it the correct way, using the right attorneys, Steve on the estate planning, Keith Mull on the real estate, and we saved the family farm. But we'll talk about that next Monday. But they're a Wave 3 family. They're the ones that love Denise's beautiful voice. And they were actually at a doctor's office and they saw your show. So that's the family farm. But the gentleman I'm working with right now, he is like a 30-year retired Army veteran, combat veteran. And this man is overwhelmed with the minutia of all this stuff.
Paperwork.
See all this stuff, Kentuckiana? This is nothing. You know, you're required to get like 4 inches of stuff together. He's just overwhelmed. Overwhelmed to get all this stuff done. So we're navigating through that process to do that because, you know, you could be a combat soldier but having bullets thrown at you, but unless you deal with this navigation and paperwork, you're just overwhelmed.
There's so many different layers. You talked about the legal side. Later on, we're going to talk about the real estate side.
Big time.
Denise, your background, though, is essential. What you do is really critical to what Elder Advisors does. Tell us a little bit about your background, Denise.
Well, for almost a decade, I worked at the Medicaid office in the nursing home department, long-term care, and I was a supervisor in that department and would determine if someone was eligible for benefits. And I can go and tell you that 9 out of 10 times I gave people bad news. I was not someone they liked to see, and they did not like me when they left because I was telling them they had to lose everything they had worked their entire life for to just get a little bit of help to pay an $8,000 or more nursing home bill.
So I could see why the possibility of working with Larry and changing that story would be, because you're someone obviously compassionate, you care about people.
Definitely.
So you wanted to change that. Have you been able to accomplish that with Elder
without
Advisors?
a doubt. Yeah, now I'm on the other side of the desk. You know, there's a lot of helpful hints I can give people that I could never tell them before. You are not allowed to give any type of financial advice. I could not even throw people a lifeline and say, hey, you can call Larry Weiss with Elder Advisors. He can help you. I could not even say that. I just had to tell them what they had to do, which was you have to have less than $2,000 to your name and all of your assets to qualify for any type of help in a nursing home.
All right, it's about protecting your assets and peace of mind, and you can have both with Elder Advisors. Okay, so before we go to the break here, Larry, coming up, we're gonna tell some real life stories.
We are going to talk about some more stories. But first, Tammy, don't forget to say hi to Grandma in Alabama.
Yes.
Hi, Grandma, Alabama.
I want to say
love
hi
you.
to my Grandma Jean Sizemore. She's in town from
Roll
Enterprise,
Tide.
Alabama.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
And this is her first time being able to watch us on Listens Live. So, hi, Mama.
I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Well, I bet you she just loves it when you walk in her room, right?
Roll Tide.
Okay, there you go. He knows how to work a room. All right, so coming up here, yes, we do have some stories, and the phone lines are open, 571-5263. If you have questions about this, and of course you probably do, that's a huge fear. Don't go broke in a nursing home. Elder Advisors, we have all the expertise right here. We'll be right back on Wave 3 Listens Live. Elder Advisors, don't go broke in a nursing home. We've had quite a few calls on this subject, and actually Larry always asks me, make sure you address this because he doesn't run from it. In fact, you welcome the question, and the question is, how does Elder Advisors get paid?
The client pays us.
And how does this work now?
Well, you have to keep in mind that if a family back in the old days went to Denise as a caseworker, and just say, for example, the family had, it was the son, and he's helping mom, she's single, and she has a house that she just listed with Remax Properties East, Jeff Hurst, because he is a superstar. So the house is off the table right now. Did you like that, Jeff? Camera 4? Yeah. Okay, but then the other problem is they have $50,000 in the bank account. Okay, so how much are they over-resourced? If mom is single and has $50,000.
$48,000.
She's over-resourced by $48,000. We have the ability, working with Steve Langdon and McNeely Stevenson, to protect about half of those assets. So we can make a gift to the family of approximately $25,000. The other 25 is going to have to be spent down. Now, when this family went and talked to Denise before, she would have told them simply to spend all of the money down. And when you get down to $2,000, we'll see if we can get you on Medicaid.
At the nursing home, not just frivolously
right,
spending.
Of course, yeah. At the nursing home, absolutely, because that's be done correctly.
Yes.
You know, no silly business, paying off your credit card, gambling debts.
Not allowed.
Right. No. Okay. So family comes into us because it's always a free consultation. They can go on our website, elderadvisors.com. We have offices in Salem, New Albany, and Louisville. We're doing our workshops next week. But the point of that is, if a family comes in, they have $50,000, we're going to be able to protect about half of the assets. Everything is disclosed to the state. The other half is going to be spent down. Well, any fees that we would charge are going to be coming out of the spend down side anyway. So they get to keep approximately half. Now, I say approximately because there's variables. I don't know what their income is. I don't know what they're paying for their health care, if they have a prescription Part D. There's a lot of variables. So for the purposes of a conversation today, if it's a single person, we can protect about half. So if a fee is paid, it's going to come out of the spend down they would otherwise lose at the nursing home.
Nothing to show for it.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's as close as we'll ever get to free financial and free legal. Because otherwise, if you don't want to engage us, fine. Go broke in the nursing home, go through the $50,000, and then try to qualify for benefits.
Right.
Good luck with that.
I see. So
That can take 3 to 4 months stumbling through and then end up being denied, because that's a great segue to the story we're going to talk about with Denise. And if they're denied and they owe 4 months at the nursing home, 7 times 4, what's it, $28,000?
Right, at least.
Yeah, that they're going to lose. If it's a husband and wife, we can protect all the assets. But it starts with a phone call and a free consultation, which is a good segue for Denise, because right now, you know, believe it or not, more than 3 people watch Wave 3 Listens Live with John Ramsey every day.
I know this.
Okay, so we're getting a lot of good feedback
You know
in the
this.
community. I love it. My favorite show.
Thank you.
Okay, you're my favorite host.
Thank you.
Only because you have the most.
There you go,
Okay.
host with the most.
Stop it, Miss Ice. Don't be jealous. Say how to Alan Ice, your husband. Hi, Alan.
Hi, Alan.
Okay, so in any event, we're dealing with a family right now. The combat veteran, 30 years. He's completely overwhelmed. And this dear man is doing this on behalf of his sister-in-law. His brother has passed away, who was married to this lady. So he's really stuck between a rock and a hard place. So we're going through the financials, and then I always want to talk about life insurance. Do you have life insurance? Well, yeah, she's got this old Prudential policy. And of course, lights are going off on my head. That's how Denise and I met. Tammy, producer, saying, didn't you and Denise meet on Match.com? No, that's not true. Life insurance brought Denise and I together.
Right.
Because life insurance, these old Prudential, MetLife policies, Western Southern, they typically have cash value. So with that, why don't you relate to John what you're dealing with right now, and for the viewers of Kentuckiana Wave 3, what you're dealing with right now.
Right. What I'm working with right now, John, a family this past week, people don't realize, first of all, that just a life insurance policy can keep them from getting benefits. They could have literally nothing to their name. The cash value of a life insurance policy will disqualify them. Well, the problem is even getting your hands on this information, and that's how we can help. There's a family that I'm working with. The wife is at a nursing home, a local nursing home. She's fully coherent, you know, can do everything on her own. She just needs some long-term care. Her husband is completely bogged down trying to get all these documents, and all he knew is that my wife has a Prudential insurance policy. I probably shouldn't have said, but has an insurance policy. So the husband tried to call Prudential, said, my wife's in a nursing home, can I get some information? Well, of course, he's not the policy owner. He's not going to be, you know, he's not going to get that information. So the next day, he asked me, would I meet him with his wife, sit in his room, and, you know, just kind of watch his wife make the phone call herself. Well, she called, and, you know, she thought she had the correct information. You know, I was listening to her talk. Well, she had a wrong address. Apparently, the address didn't match what was on file. They wouldn't give her any information on the policy. That's all we need is to know, you know, very minimal information to be able to. We have to tell the state this information. We called back. We got it. We went through some more paperwork. Called back a couple hours later. Still, she could not get the information. They said, if you'll mail us a certified letter requesting this information, then we'll review it. It'll take 7 to 10 business days, and then we'll send you this information in a letter. Well, in the meanwhile, during this waiting game, she is already responsible for $8,000 in a nursing home for this month. If this carries on into March, then she's responsible for another $8,000, just waiting on a letter. Luckily, what happened is because I was helping her, I went back, then I tried to think of some other things we could do, went back the next day, brought my laptop, sat with her and her husband in their room, and we looked, we had to create an online profile. These are things she could never do on her own.
I can't even do it.
These are things her 70-something-year-old husband could not do on their own. So, you know, she gave me all the information. She watched me type it in for her. And then we finally got a little nugget of information from that online policy, from what we could see, that she was able to call back again for the 3rd time. She was able to, that one number that she didn't know before, she knew it, and we were finally able to get this information. So now they're going to qualify for March. That won't be a problem. But that's how difficult it is just to get your own life insurance policy that you're paying for, just to get the information.
And that's just one story, one hurdle. There's many.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You know, what people don't fully appreciate is if they have modest assets, or if they're under the guise and direction of a well-intentioned husband or whatever, or the nursing or business office, we'll just spend it down and we'll file for the Medicaid. People don't fully appreciate all the pitfalls that are involved. And life insurance is 101 pitfall, because no one thinks of it as an asset. They think of it as, well, it's just there to bury me. Well, but if it has cash value, which most of these do, that's an ownership issue, and that's going to count against them. So that's what people out in the viewing community don't fully understand is, well, we've only got $20,000 we're going to file for Medicaid. Well, but they don't think about the cash value life insurance. So when they spend it down, and there's business offices that will say, well, spend it all down and we'll fill out the paperwork. And then they find out a month later when they see a little mystery debit for $48 a month out of their PNC bank account. What's this $45 for? Well, that's for my Prudential life insurance. Well, now we have a problem.
Right, and the amount of time that's taking to get that information. The clock's ticking.
Wow.
Money is coming out of your pocket while that clock is ticking.
Wow. So protect those assets. Put some money in your pocket, and the amount you're going to pay elder advisors is minuscule compared to what you can
Otherwise,
save.
you'll lose it all.
All right. Let's try to grab a call real quick before we go to break. Lee joins us now. Lee, welcome into Wave 3 Listens. Hello, Lee. Lee, you have a question? Okay, I think we lost Lee. All right, we're going to go to break
Hi.
here.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, Lee.
I have a question because my mom's in assisted living and she's not bad enough that she needs to be in a nursing home. So how would that work?
Is she in Kentucky or Indiana?
Kentucky.
Okay, there's a lot of, basically what we would determine there, Lee, is we would do some pre-crisis planning. There's some financial strategies that we can do now to basically get ahead of the curve, because otherwise if her level of care increases in assisted living, unless she has a miraculous recovery and so forth and comes back home, if her level of care increases, she goes to long-term care, then everybody's running around trying to put out the fire. If she's in assisted living, come in, meet with us, because there's so many easy pre-planning strategies we can develop now so that if we have to deal with long-term care, we've already done a lot of homework and already protected some assets now while things are relatively quiet. There's never a bad time to start.
All right, that makes perfect sense. Coming up here, I want you to tell me, we've got your go-to guy in real estate, right?
He is my Kentucky go-to guy, RE/MAX Properties East, but I don't want to give it away to the viewers. They're going to have to come back and hear who the #1 real estate man in Kentuckiana, Medicaid go-to guy.
Right,
RE/MAX Properties East, that's all I'm going to say.
That's all he's going to say. Coming up next on Wave 3
I love my wife, Lucy. Shout out.
Welcome back to Wave 3 Listens. Elder Advisors don't go broke in a nursing home. We're joined by Jeff Hurst now, and we'll have more of an official introduction. But first, we're going to go to the phones and chat with Grace. Grace, welcome in. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us.
I'm a little nervous. I've never talked on the TV before. I am 71 years old. All I have is a house and a 10-year-old car. And I have been told that all I need to do is to have a lawyer transfer my house into my children's name and leave it there for so many years that Medicare or Medicaid, whichever, cannot touch it after so many years. Is that so?
Well, Grace, that's a great question, and I'm going to defer to our former Medicaid supervisor of the state of Kentucky to answer that. I know the answer, but I'm going to let Denise kind of handle that for you.
That is not a good idea. I would not recommend doing that, because if anything happens in the next 5 years, and you had to apply for benefits, if you had to go into long-term care, the very first question someone is going to ask you is, have you transferred any property in the last 5 years? And you would answer yes to that, and automatically you're going to have a Medicaid penalty. That means you're going to be denied. There will be months without coverage. It can be years without coverage. It is not a good idea to try to do something like that on your own. I don't advise you to listen to the gossip or stories you might hear from other people about that. I would talk to a professional before you make any decision.
Well, this shows you how complex it can be on so many levels, Larry.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you for calling, Grace. We appreciate the phone
Yes,
call.
very much.
Thank you, Tammy, my producer. Well, to kind of go one step further with what Grace said, and I hear Mr. Langdon talk about this, because we're giving financial advice. We're not attorneys giving legal advice, we're giving financial advice. But I've heard Mr. Langdon at the workshop, which is, thank you, Tammy, that's a good segue for next Monday at the 4 Points by Sheraton at 6 o'clock on Crittenden Drive. John, stay with me.
Here it is. I'm right with you.
Okay, and then Tuesday, 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn in Clarksville. But Mr. Langdon talks about the pitfall of what Grace was talking about. And I've heard Mr. Langdon say time and time again, if Grace transfers that home to her son, you've got a whole other kettle of fish to deal with. If the son's involved in a car accident, a lawsuit, a bankruptcy, a divorce, a judgment's entered against him, it can come back on Grace. That's not good. She's 71 years old. The last thing she wants to do is lose her home.
Makes sense.
And if Grace decides she wants to sell her house and get a patio home, typically, and again, this is what I've heard Mr. Langdon at McNeely Stevenson Law Firm say as the attorney, because I'm only parroting what I heard the attorney say. Was then he's going to need the son to sign the deed and maybe the wife to sign. It's just a mess. There's better ways of dealing with that, Grace, and that's why we have the workshops next week. It's never too late. There's much better ways of doing that. So, which is a good segue to real estate. And Grace, I do appreciate the call today. I wanted the best, and I tell you at the programs, I want to be the dumbest person in the room. Top talent, attorneys, accountants, CPAs, the whole laundry list of things. And that includes a realtor. So I went out to what I feel, this is my personal opinion, the best real estate company in Louisville, which is RE/MAX Properties East. So I went out there, and I have a certain cachet. People kind of know me. And I'm walking in the door, and they're like, give me a cappuccino. Mr. Weiss, can we get a newspaper for you? Can I be your listing agent for Kentucky? And I'm like, no. You won't do. So finally, the managing broker comes out, and there's like a long hallway, kind of a stage in the back, and he said, well, can we help you? And I said, I need the best. I don't want the second best. I don't want flavor of the day. I want the best.
Sure.
In the back of the room, it was a stage. It went dark. And then a spotlight
like
came.
Elvis music came
I'll tell
on?
you what, baby, it was like Elvis, 1973, live from Aloha, Hawaii, right? The spotlight comes on, the curtain opens, and there is this beautiful man, a little taller than I am, Jeff Hurst at RE/MAX Properties East, and he is our go-to guy for real estate because there accept no substitute. RE/MAX Properties East, Jeff Hurst.
Yes.
So in what areas does Jeff help elder advisors?
And you know what? That is a great segue for the rest of the programs. I want Jeff to take it away and talk about as is.
Okay, as
Jeff.
is. What's as is?
As is means you're listing the house and you're not willing to do any repairs on the house. You don't want to do anything if a repair request comes through. And I sat down with a family this past weekend, and a couple weeks ago, there's 4 family members, and there's differing opinions about what they want to do. One of the family members wants to list the house as is. And I said, why is that? And he says, because I don't want to do any repairs. I said, well, I don't like doing that because you list the house as is. That basically means there could be something wrong with that house that you're not telling people right away. And don't do that because you don't have to do any repairs. They can come in with 40 repairs, and we can say we don't want to do them.
Right.
So I never recommend doing a home as is.
All things are negotiable.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, when you get the family together, everybody has their different opinions. This property here has 2 pieces of property attached to each side, 2 pieces behind it, so it's extremely complicated. I think MSD actually owns one of them and never transferred it out of her name. So we've got to dig in and get that taken care of before we actually list the property. But things to do, I always tell people, we want to do some things before you come out to the house, Jeff. No, don't do things before you come out because
That's a good point.
I'm like a new buyer's eyes when I come in. I may say, instead of replacing that floor in there, let's just paint this room, or we don't need to do that at all. Don't do anything before I come out. Let me come out first, give you my opinion, what we need to do, and then we'll move forward at that.
All right, so, and some more. What about dues? You say don't do that. Are there some dues, things you should take care of right away?
Call Jeff Hurst, RE/MAX Properties East.
just-
Call me.
Got it, call
and
Jeff.
then you'll
Call
tell
me.
them exactly what needs to be done.
Exactly. Like I said, it just let me take a look at it first, and then we'll decide what needs to be done at that point.
We've just had a few stories, and to me it's amazing about how complex this can be in so many different areas, whether it be legal, the Medicaid, Medicare side, real estate, we can talk about this. So for those who have watched now and say, wow, this sounds a little too complex, it's smart to get ahead of it, right?
Yeah, for sure. And actually, let me borrow your pen for a minute. I want to pretend I'm John Ramsey. What would you say, is clutter a big factor with houses when mom's been in home for 50 years? Is clutter, am I holding the pen correctly?
No, yeah, I think you are.
Is clutter an issue?
Absolutely, it's a huge issue.
Yeah. Tell the viewers
You're so smart, Larry.
But I am, and I'm beautiful, thank you. I'm just, yeah. So share with the viewers the issue of clutter, what you have to deal with, because one man's junk is another man's treasure.
I have dealt with several homes where literally you walk through the house that was hoarders, and we've got to get that house emptied before we get it on the market because we want it to look the best it can be. And once you get the stuff emptied, you may have to do things with the carpeting, and there's other things that have taken their place in the house. And so yes, clutter's a huge issue.
That's from the start on now.
Yes.
And before we wrap up this segment, to sing Jeff's praises, he's actually paid out of pocket people to come out and empty the house because the family had modest assets and got paid back at closing. So kudos to
Nobody
Jeff
would do
Hurst
that
at RE/MAX
except him.
Properties
Yeah.
East.
Nicely
Really,
done.
he's a good
Very
man.
nice.
All right, coming up here, we're gonna come back and tell you about all the workshops. Small show here, obviously limited time, but lots of questions. So workshops coming up next on Wave 3 Listens. We're live. Don't go broke at a nursing home, Larry. These are the workshops, right?
Kentuckiana, welcome back. Hi, Grandma Sizemore. I love you. More than Denise, by the way.
No.
In any event, Kentuckiana, it's never too late. Please do not prejudge your situation. Don't worry about what Gus at the coffee club told you or Margaret at the hair salon. Listen to the experts. Steve Langdon, McNeil Stevenson Law Firm, is going to be out there next Monday night, 4 Points by Sheraton, 6 o'clock, and Tuesday morning at the Hampton Inn in Clarksville. Come and deal with the experts. We can show you how to protect your assets so you don't go broke in a nursing home. It's never too late. And hopefully today you took away some information and learned what we can do to help protect those assets. It's never too late.
It is never too
Never
late.
too late.
Very well done. Don't go
Thank you.
broke in a nursing home. Want to thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.
Jeff, thank you. Denise, thank you.
Thank
we
you,
braved
John.
through this, didn't we?
We did.
Remax Properties East.
Somehow we made
Call
it again.
Jeff Hurst. It's ready to list property in the spring.
All right. Enjoy the warm weather, and we'll see you on the Tuesday edition of Wave 3 Listens Live. Have
Thank
a good
you.
one.